Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Amedio602, and today we're going to be going through some of my league placement highlights. We're going to go through all 5 games that I played to place in Call of Duty League play for Black Ops Cold War, and we're going to be talking about each one, breaking down each game, and I'm just going to be giving you some general tips and tricks for each mode. First up, we have Hardpoint on the map Checkmate. In Hardpoint, your objective is to control the marked areas on the map, and those do change with time, by the way. The team that gets to 250 points first is going to be declared the winner. I start off this map by flanking around to the right side, but still staying on the objective. This gives me a different angle than some of my teammates who maybe went right into the door of the plane there, and that's really important in league play because friendly fire is enabled, and you definitely don't want to be shooting your teammates in the back. One other thing I should point out here is that I'm doing something that I'm going to recommend you not do for your league play placement, and I'm playing solo queue, and worse than that, for whatever reason my microphone wasn't working in the game, so I didn't have any voice comms at all with my teammates. I couldn't hear them, and they couldn't hear me. And you can see a big part of Hardpoint is reading the spawns and being able to cut off the enemy team from the spawn while you control the hill. That eliminates the possibility of them even getting onto the hill, and as long as you've got one player on the hill, you're going to be getting points. Another very important part of Hardpoint is that there is a timer on the hill, and when that timer starts ticking down to the end of one hill, you want to have your team already in position to control the next hill. This is referred to as rotation, and it's very important that you get a player into the spawn area for the next hill so that your team gets the spawn closer to the hardpoint. This is going to make it easier to control the hardpoint for a much longer period of time. In League play, you are restricted with which items and which equipment you can use. For your field upgrades, you only have access to the trophy system, the assault pack, and the SAM turret. I would recommend using the trophy system in all of your league play classes. Tacticals are very limited right now. You only have access to the stun and the flashbang, so just take your pick of those two. And for lethals, I believe we only have access to the frag grenade and the Semtex right now, so again, just pick. You can't go wrong with either of those. Streaks, just like everything else in League play, are extremely limited. You can see here that I have the Napalm Strike, the Artillery, and the Cruise Missile equipped.
Artillery awaiting target coordinates.
As for the weapons, the LMGs and TAC rifles are restricted, as are the shotguns and the launchers. That leaves us with the assault rifles, the submachine guns, the sniper rifles, and the pistols. Oh, and you can use a melee weapon too. In this particular class, I'm using the Lawbreaker wildcard, and that lets me use 2 different primary weapons. I've got the AK Gang, I've got the AK-47 as my primary, and the AK-74U as my backup weapon. Normally, I would use the Perk Greed wildcard, but as of the time when I was doing my placement matches, this was still bugged, and it was wasting one of my perk slots in Tier 3. But I believe as of right now that bug's been fixed, so you should be able to use Perk Greed if you want to. So you can see this first Hardpoint game is just getting ready to wrap up, and we took a huge lead and just squandered it away. The enemy team had really good luck with those last few hills. They were able to hold them, we were not able to break them, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. You win some and you lose some. So my first League play game was a loss on Hardpoint. For my second match, I played on the map Garrison, and the game mode was Control. Control is a returning game mode from Black Ops 4. And this is kind of a mix of search and destroy, hardpoint, and domination. There's an attacking team and a defending team. The defending team is supposed to defend the 2 control points from the attackers. The attackers can capture the control points just by standing within them, kind of like capturing a domination point. Once the attackers have captured both of these control points, they win the round. But if the defense can hold out and prevent the attackers from capturing the points before time expires, then the defense wins. There's also one more unique element to the Control game mode, and that is the shared team life pool. Your team has a total of 30 lives in the Control game mode for each round, and if you lose all of your lives, game's over and your team loses. This game mode is really lopsided in favor of the defenders, as you might expect. So when you're on defense, you just need to control the point. It also really helps if you're able to push up past the point and cause the attackers to get spawned all the way in the back of their spawn. That keeps them off the points for as long as possible, getting you an easy victory on defense. As for the attackers, your goal needs to be map control. You need to push the defenders as far back into their spawn as possible, and then get as many members of your team onto the control point as possible. The more attackers that are on the control point, the faster it will be captured, and the sooner the round will be over. This game on Garrison was a whole lot easier than our first game, and we were able to come up with an easy 3-0 victory. That takes me into my third placement game, which was again the game mode Hardpoint, this time on the map Raid. The first hardpoint on raid is going to be near this big red statue, and there's a lot of cover here. This is a fairly big hardpoint. This one's pretty easy to defend as long as you've got one or more good AR players who are able to keep the enemy team at bay. It's also helpful to have an SMG to defend the close quarters area should the enemy team come in close. The next couple of hardpoints on the raid map are really hard to break into, and raid in general plays kind of like that with hardpoint. It's really hard to break into the hills. So what you need to do is make sure that you're getting your rotation spot on at the right time. Unfortunately for our team, we had a big bleed and we blew it just like we did on that first match, so we just ruined our rotations. The enemy was able to keep the hills and we couldn't break into it. That was kind of unfortunate for us. We also had a couple of friendly fire incidents.
Hardpoint contested.
We actually had a napalm strike or something that killed all but one member of our team, and that was pretty horrible. So again, just be careful of the friendly fire, get your rotations down. This should have been an easy win for us, but that's just not how it played out.
There's no winning this. The conflict, exit hot zone.
Game 4 is back on Garrison here, and you can see we're playing Hardpoint. In this game, I was absolutely determined not to lose 3 out of 3 hardpoint matches in my placements. I'd already lost the first 2, so I played this one a lot smarter when it came to the rotations. So as you're watching this gameplay, you're going to notice a few different things. Number 1, I stay pretty close to the hardpoint at the beginning of the game. I'm on the hardpoint sometimes, I'm off the hardpoint sometimes. I'm really just trying to change it up as much as possible so that the enemies just can't keep track of me. I'm also throwing down trophy systems in and around the hardpoint to minimize the chance that anybody on our team gets stunned, flashed, or grenaded. You might also notice at around this point in the gameplay, we are losing by quite a few points. It's about 100 to 80 right now. So I decided to change my strategy up a little bit. The enemies were on the hardpoint, our team was going for the hardpoint, so rather than try to just defend the hardpoint like I had been doing, I made an adjustment here, and I started slaying a little bit more. And for anyone who's not familiar with that term, that just means rather than focusing on the objective, I focused on killing the other team so that they couldn't get onto the objective. Doing this, I was able to build up a nice little kill streak, get my streaks, and give my teammates a little bit more breathing room when it came to defending the hardpoint. While I was doing this slaying, I also tried to do the proper rotations, anticipating the location of the next hardpoint, and trying to get my team to spawn in as close as possible to the new hardpoint. This series of adjustments, along with support from my team, helped us take the deficit of 100 to 80 and turn it into a win of 250 to 138 points. You can see on the end of game scoreboard here, I didn't end up with a whole lot of time on the hardpoint, but I was able to play the objective by keeping the enemies from getting to the hardpoint. And that's a huge part of League play, is making those little adjustments to your gameplay so that you can fill in whatever role is needed by your team at the time to clinch the victory.
Bomb dropped.
The 5th and final League placement game that I had was Search and Destroy on the map Moscow.
Lost the bomb.
Search and Destroy, for anyone who doesn't know, is a round-based game mode where you do not respawn. There are 2 bomb sites on the map. The attacking team is attempting to plant a bomb and destroy one of those bomb sites, and the defending team is supposed to protect both of the bomb sites. If all the players on either of the teams are killed, then that team is going to lose that round. The first team to win 6 rounds is declared the victor, and you can see in this gameplay, our team pretty much just got destroyed in this game. The biggest tip that this non-search and destroy guy can give you is to always put ninja on your search and destroy classes. I had a teammate running around, you could hear his footsteps. I mean, that's just not a good search class right there. I had 2 different classes that I was using. Like I said, primarily I was using this AK-47 and AK-74U combo, but I also had a sniper rifle class, and I'm going to put both of those on the screen for you right now, just so you can see what I was using. Just like with everything else in League play, the attachments are severely limited, so you just kind of have to pick and choose what you like out of what's available. Don't forget to hit the like button on this video, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on my future uploads. And as always, thank you very much for watching.